Can I get a little commotion for the claw clip? It's a dachshund! My boyfriend got it for me, it's so cute! And it serves a purpose, because I'm in one of those days where if hair touches my face, I am going to lose it. Hi, welcome back. I saw this video on Larry Reed's channel, but I remembered that I did this a year ago. Today I'll show you all of the books that I want to read before the end of the year. Now, if you see these, like these three, these are my physical ones. They are chunky. They are indeed very chunky. Will I read all of these books? Maybe. It's still November. Will I actually though? We're not sure. I am a very, very big mood reader, so I could just read totally different books for totally different reasons. I could, I don't know, enter a reading slump. We shall never know. But I did compile a list of 10 books. The first two are the one that I will for sure read because I've already started them. I am in the middle of Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. Seanan McGuire wrote so many like fantastical fantasy books. This one, however, I am not sure if it's the translation or not, but it's iffy. I don't know if I like it or not. I'm 100 pages in. This one talks about alchemy. So we are in the modern day world, kind of, but there's alchemy. And a mad scientist discovers that he can, like, incarnate concepts into children that he creates. So he creates these two wonderful children, Roger and Dodger, and then he separates them. They're twins, but he separates them. And one incarnates like math, the concept of math, and the other the concept of words and literature. And somehow he wants them to become God or to him become God. That is unclear to me. But I am in the middle of it. Not in the middle, I'm 100 pages in. And they have not met, but they are in telepathic communication, so it's getting very good. The writing I'm a little bit iffy about, but yeah, this one I'm totally gonna read the other one, and it's such an incredible pull for this year of Italian translations. I have Dungeon Crawler Carl. This one I also have started and I'm having tons of fun. This is a dystopian comedic novel. It's also a lit RPG because it reminds you of those RPG video games. Imagine you're kind of a loser and you're lounging in your house in your underwear with your ex-girlfriend's cat called Princess Donut who hates you. And the earth gets visited by aliens who raise down all of the buildings and build a dungeon inside the earth. So the two choices are you either stay on the crust of earth, like on the surface, and die of thirst and hunger, or you can enter the dungeons and try to complete them. There are monsters in these dungeons and survive. So Carl decides, along with Princess Donut, to enter the dungeons. And it's so fucking funny. I cannot wait to finish this. This is going by so fast. I also have the audiobook, so this one, I'm definitely going to finish it. I'm so excited to talk about it. And the other one is another chunky one. In a few days, The Strength of the Few will be released. I buddy read The Will of the Many with one of my closest friends, Isotta, and she was the one to convince me that I should read it with her. I found The Will of the Many, for how much hype it got, a little bit mediocre. I think the concept of the magical system is incredibly cool, and I also think the ending was 6 stars. The author really knows how to write an action scene. He doesn't know how to write basically everything else, especially I think the relationship between the characters, that and the school life, like military academy, was very bland to me. But I'm very interested to see how that ending goes into another book. And I think there's going to be more POVs this time. So very curious about that. Another book that I've put off because it's the second to last one in the series. It's one of my favorite series. It's Vessel of Woven Night. This is the 4th book in the Rome Blood series, which I think is going to be comprised of 5 books. And we don't know the release date for the last one yet. I follow the author on Instagram, so Vessel of Woven Night is the 4th book. The first one is Prince of the Sorrows. It's an indie published book. It's almost as if the cruel prince was gay, and also much more crueler, and the protagonist was a changeling. So the part of that exchange, the human that got brought into the Fae world, and he wants to stay in the Fae world even though it's cut fucking throat, and he wants to study and to earn his place in that world, but he has to have like a patron, and he steals the true name of a fae that he thinks is just rich. No, he's a prince of the faes, and the relationship develops from there. I think first book, very, very cool, very romance heavy. Second book, very magic and plot heavy. Third book was a treat, balanced it perfectly well. It has a wonderful story, like genuinely a good fantasy book. And this fourth book scares me because people really, really liked it, and I want to really, really like it. But it also has an ending that it's not an ending, because of course it has a cliffhanger. So I don't know. I really want to, but I don't know. This is a book that also fantastic pull for Italian translations everywhere. They translated Monstrilio. I don't know if I like this cover, I like the original more. This is a book about grief, but also horror. We follow a mother whose 11-year-old son dies, and he cuts a piece of his lung, and from that lung she tries to recreate her son, but she recreates this kind of like monstrous version of him called Monstrilio. I know it talks about grief and it talks about like queer themes. With this book came a pack of tissues that the publisher sent me. So you know! Oh, another book I'm in the middle of, but with an audiobook. I'm in the middle of so many books. This is very unlike me. I am in the middle of Slow Dazed Fast Company by Eve Babbitt. I was under the impression that I would love Eve Babbitt because her and John Didion are like the two LA titans. Like the way that people love these two women is unparalleled. Unfortunately, Slow Days Fast Company, I'm in the smack middle of it, and it's a very short book. I think her writing, and it's going to sound very pretentious, but I've read better. It's not that it's shallow, it's okay. Everything she writes about is charming and interesting, and it really reflects like LA in those years. So very Slow Days and Fast Company, but this like sense of, there's not that urgency that you hear about in New York's books, for example, because there's the desert, there are vineyards and really rich people and failed actors. And I really wanted to know about that. But the first part of the book is everything outside of LA. And I'm like, well then, what are we here for? I also, I think, have been spoiled by amazing Italian authors that write about our cities, much like Eve Babbitt did with LA, in a way that I think it's more, I don't know, colorful, flavorful. So I'm liking it just fine. That's not to say that it's bad. I'm liking it just fine. It's not the outstanding book that I wanted it to be, but maybe the second half of the book will be amazing and I'll eat my words. I don't know. Another fantasy, I have a lot of fantasy mix in this. I loved Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. First book really, really reminded me of the atmospheres of House Moving Castle, the book. And I really liked the second book. Not as much as the first one, but it still was like a 4.75 stars. And the third book has come out. Emily Wilde's Compendium of Fairies. And a lot of people really liked it. I'm putting it off. Same with Vessel of Woven Night. I don't want this series to finish. I don't want it to end, but I really, really need to. I need to finish the series. I think I'm going to do like a finishing all of the series that I'm in the middle of. Another episode on that series. I have like the previous episode. I'm going to link it up here. But yeah, I need to, because I really, really liked this slow and more academic kind of fantasy that's really quiet. I really liked it. This one is like a bonus, okay? This is The Honey Witch. I don't really want to read it. However, one of my dearest friends read it, and it's a sapphic book, and she liked some part of it, hated, despised a part of it. And she was like, please, please, please read this book and then tell me what you think of it, because nobody has read it in my like close circle of friends, and I need to talk about it because I need to understand why I didn't like it. and she's not a reviewer, so I was like, yeah, sure, I read it. I have the audiobook for it because it's in my subscription. So I promised that I would read it and vlog about it. So The Honey Witch, the last 2 books, I'm very excited about, but also terrified. I bought, and I don't know where I put it, but I know that I have it. I bought Mate by Hailey Hazelwood. I liked Bride. I liked Bride just fine. I'm part of the weirdos of the internet that already knew what the Omegaverse was, knotting, and the like alpha omega dynamics and all of that. There's not really that much of the Omegaverse inside of this series. There's just, you know, alphas because of werewolves and knotting. But I saw a lot of people reading Mate and liking it a lot better than Bride. So I'm very excited about it, but also fearful that I'm not going to be like part of those people. I don't know. And the last book. This one I'm terrified about, but also it got glowing reviews from all of the people that loved the first book. It's The Brightness Between Us. The Darkness Outside Us, the first book in this, I think, duology. It's a sci-fi book, very queer. It's a survival sci-fi book. They're stuck in this spacecraft that is going on a rescue mission, but the 2 guys on this mission, on the spacecraft, do not remember get it onto the spacecraft. So there's also an evil AI commanded the ship and working against them, and they develop a romance, and there's also like time shenanigans. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It really cemented in my Hall of Fame sci-fi books of all time. I loved it to death, and when the author said, I'm writing a sequel, I was like, oh boy, because I remember the ending of that book, and I remember being like, well, fuck. The problem with reading a sequel of one of your favorite books of all time, much like when I read Less and then Less is Lost. Less by Anderson Greer, favorite, like one of the favorites of all time, will never be topped. It's like 100 stars. Because I read it in the perfect time to understand things about myself as a reader, as a person. And then I read Less is Lost, which is also fantastical, but not as good. I'm very fearful of The Brightness Between Us, but all of the people who read it thought it was fantastic. So these were my 10 before the end. Will I read all of them? I don't know, but a part of them, for sure. The 3 books that I've started, 3 or 4, I cannot remember. For sure I'm going to finish, I'm going to vlog about it. And the other ones, if I'm not too scared to actually read them, I read them. Yeah, this video is over. I have tons planned for the month of end of November and December. I'm not going to do Vlogmas or Bookmas because I think it's an insanity, and I am a student, I also work. I'm going to do 1 or 2 video bonuses, like videos. I have some socials, turn down below, fun time there, special on TikTok, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye! Mwah.